A lot of country songs are built around heartbreak, but the song we're looking at today is different. This is not just a song about a man whose love has been rejected. It's about a man who believes he could heal the woman he loves if only she would let him get close enough. And that tension of love reaching out and pain pushing back is what gives this Hank Williams classic its punch. And when you know a little bit about Hank's marriage to his first wife, Audrey, the song becomes even heavier. Cold, Cold Heart by Hank Williams is the subject today on Simple Chords and Hard Truth. Hank wrote Cold, Cold Heart in December of 1950. It was released by MGM Records in February of 1951. But interestingly, it was not the primary focus when it was released. Cold, Cold Heart was the B-side to Hank's song Dear John. But radio liked Cold, Cold Heart better, and it became the bigger hit, reaching number one on the country charts in May of 1951. But it didn't actually appear on an album until after Hank's death, when MGM released the Memorial album in March of 1953. This song's been covered by hundreds of people, including Johnny Cash, George Jones, Nat King Cole, Aretha Franklin, and Jerry Lee Lewis, just to name a few. But the most popular cover was Tony Bennett's cover that he released in July of 1951, and it reached number one on the pop charts later that same year. And reportedly, Hank loved Bennett's version, and he would play it anytime he found it on a jukebox. Hank and his first wife, Audrey, had what multiple sources describe as a turbulent or tumultuous marriage. Hank's heavy drinking, his overuse of prescription painkillers, and his unfaithfulness to Audrey certainly contributed to their troubles. And Audrey was reportedly unfaithful to Hank too, so the difficulty in the relationship wasn't the result of just one side. But regardless of the causes, that troubled relationship has often been connected to the emotional world of most of Hank's songs. And several biographers and music historians have specifically connected Cold, Cold Heart to their relationship. One commonly cited account mentions one of Hank's attempts to make up with Audrey after a falling out. And she reportedly rebuffed this attempt, to put it mildly, with some pretty colorful language. And it prompted Hank to later say to their nanny, "She's got a cold, cold heart." In that one statement, and the heartache that prompted it, came the inspiration for the song. Now, that doesn't mean that every word in the song was literally true, but the turbulence of their marriage was definitely the springboard for it. So let's take a look at the song itself. It's a very simple song. It's really the epitome of three chords and the truth, consisting only of the chords D, A, and G. There's no chorus in the song. There's no bridge. It's just four verses. And the only lyrical hook in the song is the repeated line at the end of every verse. The song tells a story of a broken-hearted man who just can't get the woman that he loves to accept his love and to fully accept him. And this is how it goes. I try so hard, my dear, to show that you're my every dream. Yet you're afraid each thing I do is just some evil scheme. A memory from your lonesome past keeps us so far apart. So the song starts with him expressing how badly he wants their relationship to work. He says, I try so hard. And we know how he feels about her, as he refers to her in the verse as my every dream. But her response to that couldn't be more opposite. She thinks that everything he does has some kind of ulterior motive. And he attributes that reaction on her part to something that happened to her lonesome past. And I love that phrase, the way he puts that. Something in her lonesome past has caused this reaction. And so the song really is an example of that old adage that says, hurt people hurt people. The reason she's hurting him is because she's hurting. And that wound from her lonesome past has become the filter through which she sees him. And each verse ends the same way that first one did, with that plaintive cry, why can't I free your doubtful mind and melt your cold, cold heart? Another love before my time made your heart sad and blue. And so my heart is paying down for things I didn't do. In anger, unkind words are said that make the teardrops start. Why can't I free your doubtful mind and melt your cold, cold heart? Now that verse is really just a bit of an expansion on the first, explaining a little more the reason behind her mistreatment of him. She's been mistreated by a past lover, and that bad experience has poisoned the well. And she thinks that our singer is just like the guy that mistreated her before. And so he's the recipient of her misdirected anger. And he even tells us in the last part of that how bad it is for him. It brings him to the point of tears himself. You'll never know how much it hurts to see you sit and cry. You know you need and want my love, and you're afraid to try. Why do you run and hide from life? To try it just ain't smart. Why can't I free your doubtful mind and melt your cold, cold heart? So here we see how he knows that her mistreatment of him is coming from her own pain. And it rips his heart out to see how much she hurts. And the frustration comes because he sincerely believes that he can love her through that, or love her out of that pain, if she would just give him a chance. Now, maybe he's right and maybe he's not. But either way, he can't force that healing into a heart that is still chained to the past. She's too scared to let him try. She's running and hiding from the solution to her pain because she doesn't see him as the solution. She just sees him as the source of more pain. There was a time when I believed that you belonged to me, but now I know your heart is shackled to a memory. The more I learn to care for you, the more we drift apart. Why can't I free your doubtful mind and melt your cold, cold heart? And now, with that last verse, he's resigned himself to the reality that he may never reach her. Her heart is shackled to a memory. It's chained, it's enslaved. And the harder he tries and the deeper his love grows, the more she resists and the wider the chasm becomes. He just can't win. All right, let's wrap this up. What stands out to me about Cold, Cold Heart is not just the pain of the man singing it, but it's the way he responds to that pain. He's been misunderstood, he's been accused, and his love is met with anger and suspicion. But he doesn't answer that with anger of his own. His deepest frustration is not, why are you hurting me? It's, why can't I help you? And that to me is what gives the song its punch. He believes he could love her through the hurt if she would just let him. But her heart is still chained to an old wound. And the more he reaches out for her, the harder she pushes back. And that is a tough kind of heartbreak. Loving someone that you can't reach. Hank could take that kind of pain and put it into words that are so simple, so plain, that they almost sneak past you. It's no wonder they call him the hillbilly Shakespeare. Cold, Cold Heart is not just a song about rejected love. It's a song about love standing outside a locked door but still knocking. And that's not just country music. That's human experience bathed in steel guitar. But enough from me. Go listen to the original. There's a link in the description. I've also linked to a George Jones version because you can't get much more country than George Jones singing Hank Williams. So that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll be back soon with more Simple Chords and Hard Truth. I'll see you then.